Welcome back to the 2025 PGT Last Chance. We wrap up the 2024 season with this fun series from the PokerGO Studio in Las Vegas. If you're tuned in right now, Event 4, a 10K No Limit Hold'em final table is about to get underway as we have Event 5 and 6 still on tap for Wednesday and Thursday. My name is Remko Rinkema, joined shortly by my good friend and colleague, Donnie Peters, as we look at today's lineup, where one name undoubtedly stands out, and it's the man on top. Brandon Wilson won his first PGT event just last night, and he could go back-to-back right now, and with that, also secure a spot in the PGT Championship, which is a $1 million free roll. Today up for grabs, $285,000 and $45,600 guaranteed for the final 7 players, who I will introduce shortly. If you're with us in the chat, please give us a shout. If you're on PokerGO or on YouTube, let us know where you're watching from, and send us in who your favorite player is, and perhaps after today, that might be Brandon Wilson, who had an epic comeback yesterday that started with him calling all in for his tournament life with 4 deuce suited. Yes, he was very short stacked, and then managed to run it up and crush Landon Tice during heads-up play. All right, cards in the air here. Blinds at 30K, 60K, with a 60K big blind ante, and it is a who's who from the high roller scene here, battling in Las Vegas. Lots of familiar faces, and also some that we haven't seen in quite some time. Jeremy Ausmus in the big blind on this hand is the #1 on the 2024 PGT standings. He is the man of the year, the player of the year. The question now is, can he close it out in the championship? The event that kicks off on January 10th will be streamed live for 2 days exclusively on PokerGO.com, January 10 and 11. Don't miss that, as Ausmus starts that tournament with the chip lead, as he has gathered the most points in 2024 Bill Linde, by the way, to his right, also at back-to-back final tables. The man I was hinting at earlier that we haven't seen in a while, Mr. Byron Kaverman, soccer phenom, $20.5 million in career earnings. And if you are new to poker, you might wonder, who is this gentleman? His biggest results dating back to 2018, 2017, made the $1 million one-drop final table in 2018, made the 2017 Super High Roller Bowl final table, both events in which he finished 5th. And back in 2015, he won the 10K 6-backs, which is his lone bracelet so far on the resume. Good to have Kaverman back. Always entertaining to watch. Let's see what he can do here today at this final table. Sam Laskowitz, no stranger to our live streams either. He's sitting on $2.8 million in career earnings. And last year, during the Last Chance series, he won his first PGT title.
10 seconds.
Laskowitz limping in to kick this thing off. Wilson comes along, and Ausmus takes the opportunity with ace-queen off to make it 325. Kristina Holst, by the way, to Ausmus' left. She also no stranger to the studio, has had quite a few results here, but is still looking for her first title on the PGT.
10 seconds.
Ausmus takes it down without showdown, and we move on to the next hand. All right, who do we got in the chat? BLW says Brandon Wilson is a beast. He indeed is. Back-to-back wins would be pretty epic if he can pull it off in this field.
I don't even know what I think.
Yeah, I do that a lot.
Race 120.
10 seconds.
Wilson makes the 120 action on Ausmus. Again, ace-queen, this time of the suited variety and in position. He's just come along and make the call.
What's up?
First flop of the day, 10-9-6 rainbow. Gut shot straight draw here for Wilson, as Ausmus is left holding 2 overcards. No backdoor flush draw for him, which of course always tempting and promising if that opportunity arises. Ausmus, by the way, rocking the shades. Don't see that all too often. Perhaps it was a late night, or maybe he's about to drop a new song with the guitar, channeling his inner Bob Dylan. And there's the 7 on the turn. Wilson smashes it, makes a straight. Good thing here for Jeremy Ausmus, Bob Dylan, is that he doesn't have much himself. Wilson with the sneaky check action on Ausmus, who checks behind. Jack hits on the river. Wilson receives the check mark, avoids a chop. 8 on the river, of course, was Ausmus's only escape here. 390 in the middle. Let's see what Wilson comes with.
10 seconds.
60,000.
Wilson comes very small, bet 60,000, looking for some value. Ausmus lets it go, and Wilson takes this one down up to 6 million chips. A whopping 100 big blinds, just shy of it, but I'll call it 100 right now. Of course, if one man's rich, the rest will be poor. And looking at the standings right now, Madanzhiev, the short stack on 8 big blinds, but you know, no one else extremely comfortable, even though Ausmus is on 30 bigs, Holst on 26. Everyone looking at Brandon Wilson.
Seconds.
120.
Kaverman and Linde looking to pair up and make a royal flush here, potentially.
275.
As Linde comes over the top with ace-10 of diamonds. Action folding back around to the initial razor. Kaverman with a decision to make. Came into this hand with 23 big blinds. Linde shorter than him.
Time extension.
Must be hard to continue here for Kaverman, especially with Madanzhiev as short as he is. King Jack of diamonds. Of course, you're blocking some big holdings, but do you really want to play out of position here? Doesn't. Ultimately lets it go. Linde chips up. By the way, shout out here. We got Kevmo checking in from lovely and snowy Colorado. Stay safe, friends. I know that most of the U.S. has gotten pummeled by a snowstorm. Probably the perfect opportunity if you have power to just watch some poker, hoping that the snow will go away. We got X the Cuz checking in from Boston. He's coming to Vegas, baby. He says, heading out to the PGT tomorrow. Love to hear that. We got someone watching from their truck, work truck in Wisconsin, which is great. And back over to YouTube. Martin Klemnicki, as always, one of the people first to chime into the chat. Very much appreciated. Give us a shout in the chat if you are tuned in. Chris Jordan tuning in from Louth in the UK. And Hufflebluff says, when you call off with 4-2 suited and flop a flush, it's your year, King. And so far, it has been the year of Brandon Wilson. If he wins this one back-to-back, I'm sure he'll be the front runner on all sorts of lists for 2025. Oh, we got Russell in the chat too, coming to Vegas tomorrow for a few days of CES. You got to hook us up with some badges one day, Russell. I'd love to check out CES. Donnie ran into Gary V at Aria just a few minutes ago. He just texted me that he was that he crossed paths with him as he was picking up a coffee. Vegas buzzing with excitement as Kaverman folds ace-9 of spades from the big blind. Perhaps a bit of a passive fold, but gotta take into account those ICM implications. P-Rex saying, shout out for Zurich, Switzerland. Sure, I'll oblige. We got a little fluff in the house from snowy Sweden. And we have Ginger Ale Drinker. Oh, there we go. Good night poker for him from Germany. So we got good international representation. If you do enjoy our coverage, smash that like button on YouTube. We'll take questions if you have them. PGT Championship, of course, a can't-miss event. Streaming live only on PokerGO. 2 days of action. Ahlinejad, Jesse Sylvia on commentary.
10 seconds.
Negreanu will be in the mix. Ivy has qualified as it stands. The question being, is Ivy going to show up? It is, of course, only $1 million free roll, but who knows? We might see him in action. Kristina Holst, her first aggressive action of the day, makes it 125. Holst, a former software engineer for companies such as, you might have heard of these, Facebook and Google during her time in Silicon Valley. A graduate of Columbia University with a BS in computer science.
330.
Ace at 330.
Laskowitz with some science of his own, making it 330 to go. Ace-7 of diamonds. Correct timing on his part. And Holst correctly lets it go. Laskowitz chips up. For those watching on PokerGO, please go to your profile and change your screen name in the chat. Seeing lots of guest chatters. People tuned in from Canada as well. Thank you for letting us know. Sherry says, we are snowed in here in Liberty, Missouri. Great time for watching PokerGO. Sherry, I hope everyone is doing well over there. Stay warm and enjoy the show. Ausmus, King-9 of spades.
10 seconds.
Has some raising properties, as the cool kids like to say. Looks like 200,000 or...
150.
Is it 150? There it is. 2 stacks of 3. Ausmus makes it 150. As soon as Donnie joins us, we'll get some scenarios as far as points standings. Who needs them the most? But the most important thing to remember is that top 3 in the Last Chance series guarantees you entry into the championship. So Brandon Wilson, well on his way to do just that. He is currently not in the top 40. Dylan Linde, by the way, fresh off a final table finish last night. He's making some waves. does need some more points. Linde has 14 cashes on the PGT, over $500,000 in earnings, but with only 554 points this season, he is not able to qualify just yet. Currently in 93rd place on the standings, but a win today would have him leap closer and closer to the top 40. Action folds over to Linde, who picks up King 10 off.
10 seconds.
160.
Here's the 160.
Linde, who could eclipse the 10 million earnings mark with a win today, takes this one down without any resistance. Ethnic in the chat asking, should this be an entertaining table? I mean, you got last night's winner, Brandon Wilson. You have last night's finalist, Dylan Linde. You have #1 on the PGT, Jeremy Ausmus. And Laskowitz, Kaverman, established characters here on the PGT. And Holst and Madanzhiev also no stranger to the bright lights. So I would say, yes, this will be a fun final table. And there might not be the level of chatter that you would get with a Keith Lear, Sam Soverall combo. But let it be known that the play will definitely be worth watching, and we appreciate you for tuning in.
10 seconds.
120. 120.
Wilson, with the easiest position at the table, can just continue to apply pressure, especially with Madanzhiev being as short as he is. Stepping out of line for Wilson would not even be out of line because he's just in a great situation. And you can see it right here. Linde lets go of a hand pretty enough for a defend potentially, but Ausmus clearly not going anywhere, finding pocket kings. Let's see what he comes with. Those are raising chips to the tune of 375,000. That's enough to take it down. All right, so Madanzhiev on 5 big blinds. He gets one more free hand before paying 120K in the big blind. Shout out to Cart Sharp, watching from Rotterdam. Thanks for tuning in. We got Papa's Meat saying, still driving around snow removal in Indiana. Keep me awake. Papa's, I'm doing my best here. I'm doing my best. Eyes on the road. Maybe some caffeine. Stay safe out there. All right, Madanzhiev, 5s under the gun with 5 big blinds. Is this going to be the hand to go with, knowing that he'll pay 120K in the big on the very next hand? And there we go. There we go. The classic, you know, move forward of the stacks. No big deal. He keeps himself with just a few chips left behind.
How much is that?
Madanzhiev, of course, the 2020 WSOP online main event winner. The 5K buy-in he took down for $3.9 million. Absolutely insane.
280. I'm sorry.
285.
280 total. 280 total.
So Madanzhiev raising the 280, leaving himself with 50K behind. Action folds over to Dylan Linde, who looks at King Jack of diamonds, and that goes in the muck. Laskowitz, A6 of clubs. He's already got some chips invested. Just got to run the numbers here to figure out if A6 is strong enough.
All in.
All in.
And there we go. Laskowitz moves all in. Madanzhiev makes the call, and we got a pure coin flip here. Ace-6 versus 5s. The Bulgarian
10 seconds.
out in front ever so slightly.
It took so long.
Just counting. I already misclicked once.
Madanzhiev wondering what the holdup was, as from his perspective it was quite a straightforward decision. But Laskowitz, he's in there now. Let's see the flop. Queen 4-3, 2 clubs. Laskowitz, look at that, top of your screen, 15 outs. Ace-6 or a diamond, with 2 diamonds already in the muck. Still got 13 outs. Let's see if he can find one. And there it is. The 7 of clubs on the turn will seal the deal. We have our first casualty at the final table. Stoyan Madanzhiev from Bulgaria, former WSOP online main event winner, eliminated here in 7th place, takes home $45,600, and we are down to 6.
It's button correct, or Kristina's button?
My button.
Laskowitz, 66 career cashes, a degree from Cardozo School of Law. Don't mess with this man. He'll be able to defend himself.
You do 3.
Yeah.
3? Okay, 3 cancel.
All right, blind
What
levels
do you have now, Sam?
at this final table are 30 minutes apiece.
He was asking how much you have.
2595. Now what's yours? This. Yeah.
Yep.
Seconds.
120.
Gets to 120.
Wilson back to his raising ways, makes it 120 to go. Gets a few quick folds.
1.07.
As we look upon the standings, Linde, Holst, and Kaverman all very closely together. And this one will go to Wilson again. Let me look back at the chat here for just a second. Christopher, watching from snowy Yorkshire, England. We got Jimmy Bluffett back in the house as well. Everyone represented. All things are back to normal, ladies and gentlemen.
Fold.
You're traveling this year, or your PGT, man?
I think I'm gonna go to JD. I think I'm gonna go. Just kind of decided yesterday. You going, you said? And then I doubt I'll go to Monte Carlo.
Montenegro.
Montenegro, yeah.
Yeah, it's right before WSOP.
Yeah, that's
right.
the level.
And it's not as good as JD.
Yeah, the PLOs were shit last year. The no limits were fine, but the PLOs were horrible. I feel like.
Might have to miss the last PLO though.
Yeah, I'm kind of debating if I want to stay for PLO or not. It would be good, but I don't know. It's a long time to do that.
Yeah.
You have like 1-2, Dylan?
10 seconds.
I had just under 1-3 before I paid the ante. I had like 1-2-8. Thank you.
All in.
Wilson moves all in with Jack 10 from the small blinds, attacking Linde, who looks down at ace 7 off.
10 seconds.
That'll
He's
do
going to
it.
make the big lay now.
Lines are at 40, 80, 80.
I have the highest card in the deck. Or the lowest. Wow. Wow. Depending on what game we're playing.
All right, quick look to the outside of the studio, which you can easily spot from the Las Vegas Strip. Reminder here to try out octopipoker.ai. You can sign up for free, or if you become a paying member to the most accessible poker study platform for all skill levels, you'll be entered into a raffle that could land you in event 1 of the 2025 Poker Masters. So go check them out
I definitely want to
right now, octopipoker.ai.
Some Florida here and there.
I wonder if they'll do that weird Cypress thing
10
again.
seconds.
I don't know. I'm not gonna go if they do.
I know it went well for you, but it looks miserable.
Yeah,
160?
yeah. It was
160.
worked out great, but it wasn't a great decision.
Yeah.
Probably. And I kind of did it for the leaderboard, and it worked out great. So,
Yeah, exactly.
but Barcelona was much better value.
Yeah, I saw some of the fields there.
I didn't know it'd be that good.
I didn't either.
10 seconds.
Cool.
Kristina Holst with the real one here, pocket 10s. Looks like she's not going to get any
What about
action.
you? Similar plan?
Yeah, very similar. I'll go to Montenegro.
Oh, you
For the
already
no
know.
limit. Yeah,
You went last year?
I did. Yeah. The tournaments were good, other than the PLO. There was a couple like the turbos that weren't good, but it's just so lovely there. It's like a great place to go. for,
Really?
like a
I think I have exactly
vacation.
6.
Okay, I've never been there.
Like
Yeah, I
exactly
have
6.
Good things about it.
I mean, if it's not the most beautiful place I've ever been, it's like top 5. It's
Wow,
incredible.
that's cool.
Yeah, pretty similar. Way less Florida this year.
Yeah. It's kind of losing its luster, but it's not. It's gone downhill like every series, I feel like.
I mean, Brandon wins every tournament there now.
Yeah, that's true.
Just might as well not bother. Can't take it.
Florida.
Action on Linde on the button.
Yeah.
Ace deuce.
Call. Call. Heads up.
Ausmus makes the call. Holst checks in the big blind. We're going to see heads-up action on the flop here. Ace 8-5 2 spades. Ausmus with the gin flop. Open and straight draw and flush draw.
$80,000.
Awesome, that's 80K. Not much there for Holst. And she lets it go.
I might go to Irish Open this year. Just
Oh yeah,
yeah.
that sounds fun.
We
We can make a little trip out of it. That sounds cool. I've never been there.
yeah, that's kind of. I've been to Ireland, but I've never like been there for the tournament. And then I don't know, we kind of been thinking about potentially buying a place there at some point. So it'd be cool to go check.
Oh,
Do
really?
some scouting.
Just you and this girl? Wow, sweet. Go battle Steve Odeware.
Exactly. Track him down on his home turf.
Yeah. Since he won't come here, you gotta go chase him down.
Exactly. Take his teacup, throw it in the trash.
Linde might be on the move to Ireland, Irish Open, of course. What was a staple on the European calendar, I believe, together with the
All in.
Master Classics of Poker in Amsterdam, the 2 oldest tournaments in Europe, have been going on since the 80s. And Wilson pulls the trigger, putting everyone else to the test. What a fun dynamic here, as the blinds, by the way, are now 40K, 80K, with 80K big blind ante as well.
They have a full series built out, or is it just like a 5 or 10K or something?
Yeah, their main is really small, but then they have a bunch of like 3 and 5 and like a 10.
Okay.
Yeah. The main is like a 1500 or something.
Little
Okay.
zoom
With a bunch
here
of starting points.
on the massive stack that Brandon Wilson has. It's 44% of the chips in play for those keeping score at home.
Like, play like the 10 and like a, you know, like right at the end there's like a 10, a 3, and like I can play like the last flight of the main.
Yeah.
You fly direct from here to Dublin.
Really? That's pretty cool. Did not know that.
Yeah, just started.
Wilson again with the real hand.
10 seconds.
160.
Race to 160.
The name of the game is Pressure Poker from Wilson. Just continues to put his opponents under pressure, raking in the
Taking the
chips
kids
as he goes.
To Europe. for spring
Unstoppable
break.
so far.
That's why I'm coming back, maybe missing 100K.
Where are you going?
We're going to London, like direct to London. We're doing
Steve
training
Bears
in
asking,
Paris.
what does Linde
Then
need
turn in
to
and
make the
then direct
championship?
back
One
to
of the dream seats.
Dope.
Well,
Yeah.
winning
Probably
this
a lot of
event
fun.
will be a great start for Linde, because the
It's
top
not the
3
best time of weather,
in
best time
the
of year
last
for weather,
chance
but
automatically
whatever.
qualify.
Yeah. But it's not the worst either. I don't know, London's like fucking
Yeah.
great.
Yeah,
8 months
older,
later anyway.
right.
What do you want?
Yeah.
That big? Yes. 80, 80.
Action folds around to Laskowitz on the button. Lets this one go, and Kaverman now with the decision.
Yeah,
Am I
it's been
shoving
2
king
years
6
not traveling as
into the big stack?
She enjoys
down
it.
to 10
I enjoy
big
it.
blinds.
Again, you know,
Yeah.
kind of cycling in and out. What does it like to be home and out?
Yeah, nice. Cool. Yeah, it sounds, it's a whole different thing if you combine it with, as a trip with someone and you know, you are doing some other things. That sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
Kaverman gives Wilson a walk, who will happily take it with 10-8 offsuit. Now up to 82 big blinds. Wilson unstoppable, closing in on having 50% of the chips in play with just 6 players
Oh yeah,
in this
and then
event.
if I do another one January too, I just get both. Just live in the Bahamas maybe and just move there. God damn it. That was the fucking sharpest bet ever, Brandon. This is just insane. Then if they like offer you 10K to go, you're like, wow.
I mean, they basically do.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So now you're like, okay,
Yeah.
and not tempted.
Or you guys can just both decide to go, and then it's a wash.
That's true.
Action again folds around to Wilson. It's been the Wilson show so far.
All in.
And look at that. He moves all into pressure. Linde. Facundo in the chat is asking, is this the last day of the stream? No, it is not. We have 2 more final tables on Wednesday and Thursday, so don't miss out on those. And
You guys should have made
Finally,
it like a charity. Or
Donnie Peters joining
because
us
you guys
in
both
the
decided
booth.
to
Donnie,
watch.
the biggest thing I've missed
You guys
is
actually-
my
We can amend.
analysis
Yeah,
on point standings, scenarios, and all that. And people are curious
Does
how,
mean Darren
whether
had
or
no
not
candy bet
Wilson
for
is
like
in
3
with a
weeks
win,
of
and
Halloween.
whether the same goes for
like
Dylan
much
Linde.
is-
5 of the days were like.
I mean,
exercise.
Wilson is in with a win. Asterisks,
Wasn't
other
very
things could
effective.
happen. Yes, of course. I mean, miracles can happen. Yes, but if he does end up going on to win this one, he'd have 2 wins under his belt. I mean, good luck anyone else catching him. Sam Laskowitz, the man you see right there on your screen with the ace-4 clubs, cashing his 4th event here at the series. He's 4 for 4.
What?
He's just in the money all the time.
No way.
Yeah, he's in the money all the time. He has 2 9th-place finishes and a 10th-place finish. He actually won a dream seat via this series leaderboard promotion last year. It was him and Dylan DeStefano. So Laskowitz is trying to run it back. I think he's got 105 points, maybe give or take a couple of points there coming into this event. So anything he adds here is going to benefit him. What's interesting about Laskowitz specifically is he's kind of walking 2 paths to the PGT $1 Million Championship. He's got around 770, 775 points on the season-long leaderboard, which is within striking distance of the top 40. If he wins today, he's probably in the top 40. Or he could also challenge for the series leaderboard, which, again, he's now cashing his 4th event here. We've only had 4 events, so he's walking both. He's in a really good spot overall. He can go either way,
So
depending on how things shake out.
What you're saying is that Linde is rooting for Laskowitz to make the top 40 so he can just get in through the last chance seat.
Well, and then there's Linde, who's a little bit further back, I think, than Laskowitz on the season-long leaderboard. But we've seen, you know, crazier things happen in poker. Like if Linde were to win this event, combined with his final table finish yesterday, and then maybe he wins one of the final 2 events, maybe he's in the top 40. So, you know, so it's like these guys are kind of in really good positions overall, just given the fact that they have 2 avenues to that championship event. We obviously know that Jeremy Ausmus is the POY frontrunner on the PGT. He's in there for sure. And then for Holst and Kaverman, I mean, they just need to make some noise here as best they can and then go on to do even more in the final 2 events. So for them, it really is only about the series leaderboard.
Kaverman raising to 385. Kristina Holst, ace-6 suited in the big blinds.
All in.
And there she goes. Holst moves all in. Kaverman with the snap call, and Kaverman in a great situation here to double up. Can't really fault Holst for this move, right?
No, I mean, it's a tough spot. Maybe just call, though. I don't know. It's hard. I mean, if you figure Kaverman's in there with enough, like, you know, king-queen suited, stuff like that, then I guess just go for it.
All right, flop comes out. King, 10, deuce, 2 diamonds. Holst looking for a 6 and a 6 only. Backdoor chop available to her, but it's not looking good at all. Turn is the 9 of spades. Holst looking for the 6 of diamonds or the 6 of clubs, or else Kaverman will double up and she'll be left with right around 5 big blinds. River is the 4 clubs. Kaverman with the double. Holst now in a very precarious situation.
70, 80.
Donnie, with 2 events left to be played, how do the last chance standings look right now? Because I can only imagine Wilson will take the lead, even if he doesn't win this today. And you know, what else do we have as far as, you know, people in contention? And I would lean automatically towards the former event winners, but what else you got?
2.5 still?
Yeah, I mean, Shannon Shore and Brandon Wilson are technically tied at the top, both with 298 points. Of course, we know Wilson is at this final table and is yet to finish, so his points are to be added, so he will move in front. Shannon Shore is right there in second place. You got Landon Tice, you got David Chen, you got Keith Lear, you got Victoria Lifshitz. I mentioned Sam Laskowitz as well, Steven Song. So anyone that's had a top 3 finish or a handful of cashes, if you're looking at someone like Laskowitz, is right there towards the top of the leaderboard. And then if the numbers hold for the rest of these events, I mean, this event had, what, 114 entries? So the numbers have been holding pretty steadily around 105 to 115-ish. So if they do hold over 100, you're going to look at another 250 to 275 points for the winners of Event 5 and Event 6, which means, what? If you have like 50 or 60 points coming in, you could vault way up in there. So everyone should just be playing till the end.
Tim Duckworth has put on the most motivational series of poker tournaments here to start off the year. I joked that every series should be called the Last Chance because it's bringing people out.
Yeah. Last chance for this, last chance for that. Just really drive that urgency.
It kind of feels like me studying for my exams. At the 11th hour, midnight before the big test, I would finally show up and get it done.
Yeah. I mean, it is. The concept of this series is really cool because we obviously know that December is a massive month now in poker. You have everything that's going on in the Bahamas, WSOP Paradise. You have everything that's going on here in Vegas with not only the WPT World Championship, of course, that's the headlining event here, but you have things like the Aria Poker Open now. You have a bunch of stuff going on.
Incredible.
So essentially people can win a boatload of money and then come fire into this series trying to get into the free roll, not having done anything on the PGT because of the series leaderboard implications, right? So it's just a very cool thing overall. Of course, it's very important for the people that are, in the top 40 or chasing the top 40, yes, but you could just be somebody who came in, I don't know, maybe you hit a big final table over at the Win, you come on down here next month and you're firing in these events. Who knows?
And that just circles us back to Jonathan Tamayo.
Yeah. Who's, just chasing that cash. He's 0 for 4 so far.
Unbelievable. Laskowitz, 4 for 4.
Yeah.
Tamayo, 0 for 4. All right, Holst here on the button. She'll be hard-pressed to find the better situation. King High has to go in here. And Laskowitz finds queens. What an unfortunate situation here for Holst.
10 seconds.
Got to get a count here.
395 total.
Time
Call.
Call.
And Laskowitz just with the call, hoping for perhaps Kaverman to get excited about his hand and pocket 4s. I mean, can we get sneaky here and come along, Donnie? Do we have some pot odds?
I mean, I would lean just fold, get out of the way. I think Laskowitz can be flatting some real powerhouses here at times. I mean, maybe there's a world where you try and get a little crazy and isolate. Of course, we can see that would backfire pretty severely if Kaverman does take that route, but
10 seconds.
Kaverman does let go of the 4s, and we got Laskowitz with queens taking a run at sending Holst to the rail. At least she's got the 1 overcard. King 7 still 28%. Holst needs some help here. Awaiting the flop. Laskowitz looks away, doesn't want to see it. Here it is, King, Queen, 8, and while Holst catches a pair, it's Laskowitz who flops a set, no flush draw in play. The best thing Holst can hope for now is runner spade, otherwise she will likely hit the rail. And there's the 4th spade. Okay. Let's not speak too soon. 20% chance here to survive. a spade for the chop, or else Laskowitz will take her remaining chips. River card. It is the spade. Oh, baby. Runner, runner, spade, and Holst survives. Donnie, you know I love to call the possible runouts, but you never think it's going to come through like this.
I mean, what a board. What a run out. Obviously favorable for Holst there, but a little bit brutal if you're Laskowitz. But at least you didn't lose the pot, right? I mean, that's the silver line.
It'll feel to him like he's losing.
Of course.
All right. Back to regular poker play here as Linde lets go of one. Jimmy Bluffett is correctly pointing out in the chat that event number 5 is now underway. 51 entries so far. Donnie, we've hit 100 players in every event. This might go down as our most successful series ever.
Yeah, I mean, usually all of the series start off hot, of course. That opening event is when everyone's kind of taking their shot. This one, everyone's been, you know, returning every single day. The numbers have held strong daily out there in the main studio room. I would expect it to be the same. Again, as I mentioned, if you have kind of any semblance of points going into these final couple events, you got to fire, because a win could get you that dream seat and could get you into the PGT $1 Million Championship, and that's ultimately what this is all about here at the PGT Last Chance series.
Here's the 165.
Laskowitz makes a 165. Action folds over to Linde, who lets go of the big blind.
Seconds.
Seeing someone in the chat on PokerGO asking about
Very tilty.
wanting to see more pros playing in the studio like high stakes. Well, new season of high stakes poker dropping on January 13, excuse me. Well, it'll be available on the 14th.
Yes.
So January 13, new season of high stakes poker, season 14 kicking off. So tons of big names in play as your favorite poker cash game returns.
Great. I think every time you shove, my first card has been good.
Keep it that way.
Ooh.
It's been good.
Yeah. Like, Second one disappointing, but you know. What is it? 165.
It's 165.
After a little bit of thought, Laskowitz raises here with ace 6 of hearts. He is under the gun. Holst is the short stack in the big blind.
Time extension.
Alan, could we close that, please? Thank you.
Look at this. Holst in the big blind comes along to see a flop off the short stack. Are we thinking like a stop and go perhaps, Donnie?
Yeah, I mean, she's already, I know she's super short, right? And she's already committed to big blind ante, so just
10 seconds.
try and see a flop, connect with something. Connecting here with top pair, she probably feels really good about it. Of course, dominated right now, but still likelihood that there's a chop.
So Holst flops what she was looking for, but little does she know, Laskowitz also flopping the same pair with a better kicker. Now, if she moves in here, at least they both got small cards, so there are, again, some chop options, which is reflected in the percentages next to their names.
10 seconds.
I know she only started this hand with 6 big blinds, but it's just so hard to fold a hand from the big blind, even when you are so short, and just give up, you know, a 30 or stack or 2 big blinds. So just put that extra big blind in, try and hit something. She comes with just call here, so allowing to, you know, Laskowitz to have all of his bluffs remain in there. I don't think she's ever ultimately getting away from this hand with how short she is, so I think it's just a factor of, you know, making sure like all those king queen stuff like that are just still in there for Laskowitz.
And here she goes. She moves all in on the turn to see the bad news. Holst has 12 outs here. Could be much worse, but it could also be better. Laskowitz, however, does have the better kicker, but Holst on the turn picked up a flush draw, so she still has some options here. Just shy of a million chips in the middle. Can Holst find a way to survive? River card is the 9 of hearts. And again, we will chop it up.
Just all the chops between these two. Result there, most important to Holst, as
It's like 2.8 soon.
stick around.
I'll count
of
once.
course.
After I'm done tilting in my head. Two, 6, 6, 5.
Thank you.
Laskowitz still firmly in second place here, just trailing Brandon Wilson, of course the overwhelming chip leader. Holst, sub 6 big blinds for her in the small blind now.
10 seconds.
Action now on Wilson.
All in.
It was a berry, but I'm just trying not to step on it, I guess.
He's just going to take the ultra aggressive route here and move all in. Really force everyone to pick up a hand. And this could be enough here for Holst. And there it is. That money is going in. Nothing for Laskowitz. So once again, Holst's tournament life is going to be on the line here. her ace-10 off up against the jack-5 of clubs for chip leader Brandon Wilson. %61% here is the equity for Holst to double up. Queen 10-6, 1 club and a couple of hearts. Wilson does have 2 clubs in his hand. Could go backdoor here. King of hearts on the turn. 6 outs now for Wilson. We can see a couple of those shaded graphics at the top of your screen have been folded already. 8 of spades on the river. That is going to give the check mark to Kristina Holst, and she is going to double up here. Back up over $1 million for her. Small dent to the chip leading stack of Brandon Wilson.
455.
Not too much damage done to him. Still on 6.3 million. Still the chip leader, of course.
3 hands remaining in the level.
And still 6 players remain. Couple hands left in this level before the blinds go up. 50,000, 100,000 will be next. Players right now guaranteed $57,000. Thanks for dropping those payouts in the YouTube chat, Jimmy Bluffett. Appreciate you. Action here folds around to Laskowitz in the small blind. He's got jack-3 of diamonds. Just him and Kaverman left to battle on this one.
220.
220.
Laskowitz comes in with the raise. King-3 off for Kaverman in the big blind.
10 seconds. Time extension. Seconds.
425.
425.
Kaverman not going to let Laskowitz get this one over on him. Fights back with a 3-bet. 425K is announced. And Laskowitz gets out of the way. Kaverman not to be outdone there. Takes that one.
Last year on the level.
Linde under the gun here, ace-6 of clubs. He's working with about 13 bigs.
165.
Here's the 165.
Comes in with the raise.
10 more.
What did you start with again? 1.1.
Action folds over to Wilson. He's got a 6-5 off.
10 seconds.
He's going to flick in the call.
Heads up.
Heads up we go. Seven-3 deuce with a couple of hearts out there. A texture that could be perceived to favor Wilson's calling range out of the big blind. Probably a little bit more so given his stack size. Probably going to be, you know, pretty free to open things up and defend.
10 seconds.
Let's see if he decides to take a chance and lead here.
115.
There it is. Not much Linde can do there. And that's gonna be that for this hand and this level. Players are gonna have a quick break. We're not gonna go on break, but we are gonna take a short commercial. We'll be back.
How long is this break?
Poker, a game of infinite complexity. How simple can we make it? Every hand I play is a teacher, each emotion a guide. Our experience and technological innovation will help you unlock your game's potential. Octopi Poker. Pursue mastery.
Want to play online poker for free? With PlayPokerGO, you get the thrill of authentic poker anytime, anywhere. From quick casual games to action-packed tournaments, PlayPokerGO lets you compete against real players around the globe, all for free. No bots, no gimmicks, just pure poker fun. Hone your skills and enjoy the poker experience you love. Explore PlayPokerGO on web, iOS, and Android. Deal yourself in now.
All right, back inside the studio as promised. No breaks here on the show. Funny story though, Donnie. I snuck out a few minutes ago to quickly use the restroom. A little behind the scenes for you guys at home. Donnie and I don't really want to have breaks. We were the initial sort of proponents of starting the stream with a longer delay and then cutting out the break so you guys can watch the entire time, which also then in turn means that sometimes we have to sneak out, use the restroom, maybe grab a snack, and we just cover for each other. Now, guess what just happened? I ran into Clyde inside the studio. Clyde, of course, the legend, dealer here inside the PokerGO Studio, recently featured on Queer Eye, the famous Netflix show. I believe it used to be called Queer Eye for the Straight Guy, but now I believe it's rebranded to just Queer Eye. One of those, makeover shows where they, visit someone and they help them out in whatever way they can. I just want to point this out. If you have Netflix, please check out Queer Eye, the latest season. Every episode is filmed in Las Vegas, and our own Clyde, dealer here at Aria, dealer in the PokerGO Studio, was featured on the show. Heartwarming story. Also a very sad story. He just had quadruple bypass surgery on his heart. Recovering from that. They did a home makeover for him. They helped him out in various different ways. So shout out to them and shout out to Clyde. Go find his YouTube channel and make sure you check out his podcast. Andrew Lichtenberger also featured on that show as well. So Clyde, all the love to you, and we're all glad that you're doing well and recovering.
Pay for your sleep.
And that show, regardless of Clyde, is my guilty pleasure.
We ran into OG Queer Eye Carson. Cressley at the airport once in Boston.
He's the architect guy, right? Or the
I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I mean, I know what he looks like.
Right.
Yes. And we were heading to Martha's Vineyard for a family trip, and my wife spotted him. He was at the counter at the same time we were at the counter, and he had on white pants. And I believe it was after Labor Day, so she flat out was like, "Hey, I thought you weren't allowed to wear white pants after Labor Day." And he went into this whole thing, and they had a nice little thing. And she's a huge, like, my wife is a huge reality show nerd. She loves that sort of stuff. She's watching Bravo every single night, you know, yada, yada, yada. So for her, that was just a really incredible moment for her to meet him and, you know, get a little fashion tip and all that sort of stuff. So, yeah. But he was super nice and friendly. Much quieter final table today.
Yeah, I said at the start of the show, no Keith Lear, meaning I will have to do most of the talking today. The cards will have to do the talking for the players.
Nice one here for Jeremy. Ace King off.
All in.
He's gonna jam. Nothing there for Holst. I feel like during that break it was an entire climate change for Jeremy Ausmus because he was t-shirt and sunglasses, and now it's no sunglasses and a nice little feathered filled jacket. I mean,
I guess
to keep warm. Maybe it's chilly in there.
He wasn't running hot, so he's trying to warm up.
Raise here from Kaverman, ace-9 off.
Action folds around to Laskowitz in the big blind with 5-4 suited. Blinds now at 50K, 100K, so he only has to toss in an extra big blinds. Donnie, how do we treat these small suited connectors in general in situations like this?
I mean, delicately when you get into these, you know, final table ICM situations. You know, generally speaking, when you get to like this stage of the tournament, you're going to favor high cards in your hand, you know, cards that are like, I mean, I know we've seen the ace-6 suited, you know, open a couple times, stuff like that. Now, Laskowitz's position being from the big blind, I mean, this is just a great opportunity to get in there at a very affordable price. Hopefully flop something big that you can, you know, ultimately go with and win some chips off of, you know, score a KO against Kaverman. Flop not the worst for Laskowitz, of course, pairing that 4. Probably not many 7s out there for Kaverman to have. 10, of course, likely. But once he checks back the flop, okay, feeling all right. But then you get faced with a jack on the turn, so probably some cautious proceedings here to follow. He does check. You might also see sometimes, or you know, in earlier stages of tournaments, when players are, you know, much deeper stacked, they'll take hands like these lower suited connectors, probably more so 5-6 suited and 6-7 suited, but 3-bet those at times. Kaverman does pounce here on the turn, and Laskowitz can do nothing there. Just gives it up.
I posted a link to Clyde's YouTube channel in the PokerGO chat. You can also find it by searching for Clyde the Snack Attack on YouTube. He told me that he had 800 YouTube subscribers before the show aired, and he is now up to 9,000.
Whoa.
Look at that.
great. Let's go, Clyde.
So like
Snack
2
Attack
million?
Clyde is going to have all the top pros on his show.
215.
Via the Queer Eye show, he'll be able to use some state-of-the-art podcast equipment, so things are looking up.
Love it.
Action folds around to Holst on the button, and there she goes. All but one chip, all in from the button. 800,000 shove. And again, Laskowitz finds a big pair. Previously, it was queens, and now it's jacks. Laskowitz has Holst's number.
All in.
All in.
And Laskowitz moves all in over the top. And aces for Kaverman! What is happening?
Good lord.
Is this one of those spots where the one chip behind is going to come into play?
I mean, this is why players claim that they do this at times. I mean, I don't know what Holst has, but this is... You have to know Kaverman has an absolute monster. I mean, of course, right? Laskowitz can be shoving a little bit wider than Kaverman's going to have to be calling with here. So if you just think you're just dead, maybe you just try and get that pay jump. Now, an issue here is that the pay jump might not happen because Laskowitz has Kaverman covered. So Laskowitz can lose this hand and still have, like, what, 10x what Holst has left. So it's a tricky spot.
All right, so just so you know at home, the viewers, Holst's cards have not properly hit the scanner, so we don't even know what card she had. Probably adding a little bit more intrigue here, but Laskowitz head-to-head versus Kaverman, aces versus jacks, and Holst leaving herself with one chip left behind. As you correctly stated, Donnie, doesn't come into play, you know, very likely here because Kaverman the one with the best hand.
Yeah, I think he does.
Okay. Yeah.
That's better for you.
Yeah. No, for sure.
For sure. A lot better.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, even without seeing the card.
All right, let's see if Laskowitz can find a miracle here. Kaverman looking for a second double up, and if he gets this, he'd be a real contender because this is the second versus the third biggest stack at the table.
Oh, right.
I probably should have made
like free.
Yeah, exactly.
Makes it a lot easier.
All right, here comes the flop. Let's see it. Ten, 6, 7. Laskowitz looking for a jack and a jack only. Turn is the deuce of diamonds. Laskowitz all but out the door. And it looks like Holst's decision is going to pay off because the 9 on the river sends a Laskowitz to the rail. I'm pretty sure we had a recount of the chips because earlier it looked as though Kaverman was the one at risk.
I have 2 points.
Or perhaps we misread the situation here, Donnie.
I could have sworn the graphics were different.
Right.
I mean, maybe I'm crazy.
Well, even better on Kristina Holst's part because
He had 2.15.
there it is. The pay jump secured
1.95 or something.
by courtesy of the one chip behind.
Or 2.5.
Donnie, does this validate the entire strategy after much debate on social media?
I mean, that's why you do it, right? I've seen. We've obviously seen many, you know, one chip behind or a couple chips behind type of thing. I've never seen anyone fold like that though. Like I've never seen it actually happen. I think there was one time when we were doing commentary, maybe a year or two ago, where Sean Winter did it, but then he called anyway.
4 points.
So I haven't seen somebody actually fold. So
Or no.
hey, she secured the pay jump.
Got 5.
And my fault there on the chips.
I guess this stack's got to be about 5.
I'm good to go, right?
My fault, but yeah. Crazy. Absolutely crazy.
That was a wild
I
hand.
want to know what she folded.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, this is what I get from our tech team. Her cards never fully hit the scanner, so we never got a chance to actually load them into the system. So unless I run into Kristina to ask her, we might never know.
That's why we need the camera.
All in.
The whole card cam.
I mean, get rid of the digital round. Put the whole card cam back in.
I
Like
know.
what?
It looks so cool.
And then we can see what the people peel.
The squeeze. I want to see the
Over
squeeze.
5. Over 5?
I mean, Kaverman versus Wilson is surely in our future here, Donnie.
Then we could see it
Maybe
come
right
back
at 5.
from Holst, right? We saw Brandon Wilson make a comeback yesterday. She is all in here. Don't know her hand just yet right now, but up against 2 players.
Ace, Queen, 9, and again, Holst's cards not on the scanner yet. Action goes check, check, deuce of spades on the turn. Kaverman with his pair of queens still well out in front.
That's 100.
Kaverman bets 100K, looking to get the showdown here versus Holst. Well, Wilson is going to come along with the gut shot straight draw. River is the 5 of hearts. Kaverman gets the check mark versus Wilson. But we have to still see which cards Holst is going to show up with here. Kaverman checks onto Wilson. Is he tempted to make a bluff here with this hand going to showdown?
$365.
Oh, wow. Look at this, Donnie. Wilson betting with king high with Holst all in. Of course, it's going to make it look stronger.
Yeah, of course. He does have that 10 of hearts in his hand, you know, blocking some flushes that his opponent could have. Not that Kaverman's necessarily going to have a flush with the way that he's acting right now. Just giving off that this is between call or fold, of course.
And there it goes into the muck. Kaverman surrenders, and Wilson's going to show king high. Can Holst escape? And yes, she does. I see an ace. Kristina Holst starting the comeback.
Well, it would have been great if she had like two sixes, and Wilson got Kaverman to fold the winner, ultimately keeping her alive. That would have been funny.
Wow.
But she had it anyway.
Well, she's on 175 now. She's got another free hand coming up.
It wasn't as severe yesterday, but we did see Brandon Wilson come back from, I think, 3 big blinds.
Yeah, it's true.
So comeback's got to start somewhere. Maybe that is the start of it for Kristina Holst.
10 seconds.
Action on Ausmus, ace-5 off, 1.9 million. Ausmus with all the incentive to play this a bit carefully with Holst and Linde on the short stack.
All in.
All in.
And here goes Wilson, knowing he has infinite fold equity right now.
First one wasn't good this time.
I guess the second one wasn't either.
No, worse.
I have 4.9.
Okay. 6.7.
One more free hand here for Holst before she's forced all in on the next hand.
All in.
All in.
Holst with Jack 3 off, with the big blind and the big blind ante looming large, decides to go all in under the gun. Wilson now ace-6 off on the button.
10 seconds.
All in.
All in.
Just going to isolate here.
Linde lets it go, and so does Ausmus. And Holst is going to be at risk again.
She's live.
Yes, she is. Very live.
It's really all you can hope for when you got the Jack 3-0.
All right, here comes the flop. Holst at risk again. And ace-10-5 is not what she was looking for. Down to just 5% equity.
Gonna be tough to come back from this one.
Kristina Holst secured a pay jump via that fold that left her with 1 chip behind, and now she could still survive if a deuce hits on the river. The wheel is still out there for Holst. Otherwise, she will exit.
Oh!
It's a deuce of clubs on the river. Oh my God. From 1 chip, now up to 6 big blinds. This will be the most epic comeback of all time if she pulls this off.
Chip in a chair, baby. Let's go.
Wow.
Who doesn't love a good comeback? Come on.
That's so wild. And the crowd goes mild, Donnie.
With that lucky deuce on the river there, Holst is now up ahead of Dylan Linde on the leaderboard. You guys see it right there on your screen.
Wow.
Oh, man. How you feeling if you're Dylan Linde over there?
They want
Like, what,
miserable.
what the heck?
But this could also have big implications for his points.
Oh, yeah, of course. I
It's
mean,
hot. I can't move now.
somebody earlier in
I
the,
know,
in the
right?
YouTube chat was
It's like, what?
mentioning the pay jumps and if these players really care about them.
No, thank you.
As Remko and I talked about yesterday, it really is about the points, like more so than the money. I mean, for Ausmus, it's probably about the money because he's got so many points. He's so far up ahead on top of the leaderboard. He's going to win Player of the Year, all that sort of stuff. So he's out there playing for the money. But a lot of these other players, the points are just as important in this series because you're trying to get into that $1 million free roll.
And Wilson, of course, taking full advantage of the situation, applying maximum pressure. But this time, Dylan Linde, short enough, makes the call with ace-jack. He's going to be in a great situation here. Linde versus Wilson, 1.15 million in the middle. Is Wilson going to double up players on back-to-back hands? Let's watch and find out. Kristina Holst was almost out in 6th. Now she could ladder to the final 4 as King 6-7 sees Wilson looking at just those 3 4s to send Linde to the rail. But the 3 on the turn gives him additional outs. A 5 would now also give him a straight. Linde still very comfortable though, 84% to survive. River card is the queen of spades, and Linde does indeed double up. And this will again push Holst to the bottom of the standings. All right, so all eyes back on Holst, who's in the small blind. Action folds to Ausmus on the button with ace-3 off. And look at this, he lets it go because of the chip dynamics here. Quick departure from inside to outside to remind you of the return of High Stakes Poker. Season 14 premieres on January 13 exclusively on PokerGO. Promo code LastChance25 gets you $20 off your first year of a new annual sub to watch the likes of Phil Hellmuth, Alan Keating, Jared Blesnik, and plenty of new faces this season on High Stakes Poker. The stakes are once again high, as they should be, and the action was hot and heavy, so don't miss out and tune in. Holst on the button, ace-10 off.
350.
10 seconds.
She moves all in, understandably so. Ace-10 off, a super premium when you only have 10.5 big blinds.
10 seconds.
And look at this, Kaverman will make the call with King-7. Wilson gets out of the way. And Holst again looking to fade elimination.
Again.
Again, yes, again and again. All right, here comes the flop. Holst ahead with ace-10, but the king on the flop turns things around. Holst now looking for an ace or a queen. Broadway straight was secured for her immediately on the turn. Turn card is the 6 of spades. Holst desperately looking for help here, an ace or a queen, or she will be our 5th place finisher. River card is the deuce of hearts, and Holst's luck runs out after what looked to be an epic comeback. She departs in 5th place takes home $74,100, and I'm sure we'll see her again in event number 5 as she keeps her hopes of making it into the championship alive with a deep run in this event. And now we are down to the final 4. Kaverman stacking those chips, challenging for the chip lead, only 4 big blinds shy of Mount Wilson. Linde and Ausmus trailing, looking for some help. Let us know in the chat who you are rooting for. We got 4 big names left, Donnie.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great Final Four. Got to give it to Holst there as also for correctly deploying the 1 chip behind strategy that did allow her to earn a pay jump. Good on her for that.
Yep.
10 seconds.
On.
Wilson applies that pressure on Linde. I mean, 4-2 suited. It worked for Wilson last night.
Yeah, this isn't not going to work for Linde. He's got too many chips. Wilson had, what, three big blinds?
3 big blinds, yeah.
So.
It's not fun to mention that. You know, it's more fun to make it sound like he made some heroic move.
I haven't gotten shit.
I mean, it was heroic. he beat the 10-5 off.
You're right, it was heroic.
To this one, okay.
All right, Ausmus trying to...
Did we okay that?
No.
He just moved.
He's just moved. He's also the leader in the clubhouse. But
so he can do what he wants?
I think he wants the lucky Holst seat.
Oh, okay. Well, she's out, so I don't know how lucky it would be. Wilson again with the shove, 10-8 offsuit this time around. Let's see if Ausmus wakes up with something. He does not. Sean Winter-esque fold there.
Yep.
So you have like 6 now?
5.5.
5.5?
5.4.
6.35.
Nine bigs for Linde, the shortest stack. Ausmus, second shortest, just under 15 big blinds for him. Byron Kaverman gets a walk.
Para Macia in the chat says, nice seeing you all. Gotta be an adult. Hopefully catch a stream, catch you on the next stream. Keep up the awesome streams, Donnie Peters. Well done, Donnie.
It's all me.
You got your fans. I understand.
It's all me. It's because I type in all caps.
I think so. Yoon in the chat is asking, does anyone not show up for the free roll? Donnie, please give us some insights. The $1 million free roll starting on January 10th, so just a few days. There is a chance that some players might not show.
Yeah, there's definitely a chance. I think it was 2 years ago that Ivy didn't show up when he was qualified.
Oh, wow. Look at this. Wilson makes the call as Linde puts 875 in the middle, leaving himself with 25K. I guess he could just have saved us the trouble and moved all in. But in this case, we're going to see a flop, king 3-5. And he goes check, check. This part of poker I will never understand.
Don't look at me, man.
This is just ridiculous. Just put the 25K in.
Check.
Just get it done. Now it gets checked all the way down, and you're giving Linde another chance. Like, either you give him 25K extra, or you make sure he's gone. That doesn't seem like a bad sort of trade-off.
Yeah, I mean,
Imagine, Donnie. Heads.
I understand, like, in Wilson's situation, I guess an argument could be that when somebody is so severely short like this, it benefits you as the chip leader. But then I would counter that by saying, but he's in the big blind the next hand, so he's all in automatically. So it's like you only really get on one-hand advantage.
And someone else can win that chip, if you want to look at it that way. Anyway, Dylan Linde down to almost nothing. Imagine if the WSB main event, Donnie, ended like this.
It might someday.
It's possible.
It'll probably happen in the next 3 years. Same hand for Linde. Queen 10 off. Just going to torture him a little bit more.
Kaverman made the call for 150 to match the big blind.
10 seconds.
Wilson comes along as well, so now three-way action to the flop with Linde all in. Ace, 5, queen, 2 clubs. Both Linde and Kaverman hit a queen, but Kaverman, of course, with the better kicker. Kaverman bets 150. Would be happy to get this heads up. That last hand, by the way, has brought Wilson up to 7.3 million. Huge chip lead for him.
10 seconds.
Well, he's going to come along once more.
Check.
King of diamonds on the turn. Linde has a way to escape, but he's not there quite yet.
Have you looked?
Looked at one.
You think it's a good one?
10 seconds.
It has to be.
I bet it's. I'll say it's a jack. On the river here.
Action goes check, check. We'll see the river card. It's the 9 of clubs. Kaverman best here. Kind of a shame that Wilson's cards have not registered.
I mean, they're on the reader.
Yeah, what do you think it is, Donnie? What do you think he has?
10 seconds.
My one is super
Is
exciting.
it a club?
A 5.
I knew it was.
It was a really exciting one.
Yeah, when you said I looked at one, I was thinking a mixed game player looked at a club. I was gonna not look at the rest of them.
Yep.
All right,
Like
so
10 clubs. Holy shit.
GG Dylan.
Good game.
Linde gets sent to the rail as we finally see Wilson's cards. It's Ace 8 offsuit. Dylan Linde collecting $96,900 for his efforts. Also, a bunch of points in the race. Donnie will have an update on that in just a second. But we are now down to the final 3. Jeremy Ausmus, the short stack, on 1.4 million as Wilson and Kaverman look destined to go heads up here today.
Does look like right now, as things
I have
stand,
like
Linde.
7.6. 5.2. 5-2.
jumps up to 5th on the
1, 2,
series
7,
leaderboard.
5.
He's got 174 points total. So very much within striking distance of finishing in the top 3 of the series leaderboard. Finishing in the top 3 of the series leaderboard would get you into the $1 million
Would
free
you have
roll.
5.2?
Yeah.
And then also if you finish in places 4 through 8, those next 5 spots, you get into the Dream Seat Invitational, which will take place on January 9th. And in that Dream Seat Invitational event, the top 6 finishers will win into the free roll. So Dylan Linde's in a really good spot. You know, he could just go right ahead and get one of those dream seats and get into that free roll that way, or he could have that backup plan of getting into the invitational and then from there playing his way into the free roll. So good spot for him. Also, you know, 2 events left, so plenty of opportunities out there for him.
It's on me, right?
Yeah, one big blind.
So,
Oh,
yeah.
shit. His big blind.
Yeah.
Time extension.
$700.
Raise to 700.
Sorry, guys.
Ausmus with the decision now. Suited king in the big blind.
Time extension.
All in.
All right, here we go. Kaverman made it 700. Ausmus all in for 1.275. Kaverman calls it off and finds himself out in front. King 9 versus King 6. The 2024 Player of the Year, Jeremy Ausmus, at risk here of busting in third place.
Raise, and then I just call. Raise, fold, call.
Yeah, I don't think I was V-pipping in any capacity.
All right, here's the flop. Queen, Jack, 7. Ausmus looking for a 6 and a 6 only. There are some ways to chop this. Turn card is the Queen of Diamonds. And there are some ways to chop this. I'm just going to repeat myself here. 2.7 million in the middle. Can Ausmus survive? He's got about 30%. River card is the 7 of Diamonds, and there are some ways to chop this, one of which is this one. 2 pair on board. King will play. Ausmus and Kaverman will chop this one up.
Yeah. Fair is fair. Sorry, Jeremy.
Sorry.
That was a complete accident.
It's all good. Whatever.
And then you grabbed him back.
I would have.
And then
I would have just
it's
lost.
funny when you grabbed him back.
I would
I
have
had
called.
5-2 off.
He would have raised probably. I would have called, and then I would have check folded the flop. So you made me money.
You're not big blind.
Wow.
You're done.
Take that back.
Steve Bear says that's how he is at the top of the leaderboard. Just getting it in bad and surviving.
Exactly.
Couple of 8s here for Ausmus. gonna start this one off with a limp. I'm just going to check the 10-5 off. Had Ausmus been a bit deeper, not sitting on the just about 10 big blinds that he has, maybe you see a raise with that 10-5 off from Kaverman. King, Queen, Jack comes out there. Kaverman does have a straight draw now. Ausmus probably not really digging seeing all three of those overcards, but he's going to wager 150. Kaverman slides over and takes a look. Rodella said this table is chops and ladders. I love it. That's a quality one, sir.
That's a really good line. I like that one. All right, 10 of spades on the turn. Ausmus now in trouble officially.
Yeah, but I wonder if there's an exit path here, given that he bet the flop. So
right. Yeah, and it's not
he
like
could have better hands than Kaverman has right now. So
and it's not like Kaverman is thinking there after pairing his 10, like, oh my God, I got it now.
yeah. Although Ausmus does shut this down with the check, so we'll see where this one goes from here.
Deuce of Hearts completes the board. Seemingly, Ausmus has given up. Ausmus did go for check again. And for Kaverman now, is he thinking he might have to bet Ausmus off a jack or something?
I mean, that might be crossing his mind, yeah. I think he ultimately just checks this back.
$350.
No, he's going to go for it. There you go.
But
so along the lines of what you're thinking, you know, can't see Jeremy calling this one. Just probably going to save these chips for a better opportunity. There it is, into the muck.
I have 7-6, Byron.
Give me a second.
Yeah.
Five, 6.
So Ausmus hoping for a clash between Wilson and Kaverman, but he'll probably have to do his own bidding, fighting his way back into this match, but he's no stranger to situations like this, so it'll be interesting to see if Ausmus can find some hands and battle his way back in here.
500.
Raise 500.
Wilson gets it done there with the raise.
And he's still on his way to back-to-back wins after taking this one down last night.
I want to see him get 3.
All right, little look inside the main room as Event 5 is underway. We see David Peters. We see, who else do we see, Donnie? Give me some names.
Well, that's Boris Angelov right there, WSOP main event final tableist, who is looking for a third cash. Can he get it in this event? Who knows? We're going to have to find out, but he needs a third cash in order to be eligible. So does that man right there, Jonathan Tamayo. He's been firing everything. Tamayo is currently 6th on the PGT leaderboard for the season, but he needs a third cash in order to achieve that cash eligibility to get into the championship. So he's down to his final 2 shots.
I mean,
it's this event or it's the next event, and that's it.
It'd be wild if the main event champion does not make it into the championship. But hey, I guess you just got to perform all around as we go back to the feature table and we see Wilson and Ausmus head-to-head with the same hand.
Yeah, chop it up. Let's go. Next hand, next hand.
Wilson put Ausmus all in and he made the call.
I mean, for Tamayo, I mean, you play better. I mean, he's, you know, if you're not playing well and you're not cashing, I mean, we don't got a spot for you in the free roll. I'm sorry. It's just those are the rules.
King 5-3, 2 hearts. This will be a chop unless we see runner hearts pop off.
We gonna get a sweat? No.
No.
Should have been backwards. River first. Shout out Joey Ingram. I see you in the chat. Good morning, fam. Welcome. Even though it's almost 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
I mean, the Vegas morning stretches to 5 p.m., let's be honest.
Speaking of mornings.
Oh yeah,
Jason Kuhn had a good tweet the other day. You want to pull it up, where he was talking about how we need the too old for this SHIT poker tour. Started, what, 10 a.m. he said?
Yep.
Done by 5.
Exactly.
In and out.
I love that.
I said you'll bring the pastries. That's your job.
Yep.
Let's go.
I would love 9 a.m. tournament starts.
You know they have a 9 a.m. tournament start up at Bay 101.
And also in Biloxi, the seniors event, Josh Arya tweeting about the 9 a.m. start.
Day around.
That's great.
Perfect.
Roll out of bed and gamble. Let's go.
Probably win that one.
Ace Jack off here for our chip leader, Brandon Wilson.
10 seconds. There's the 300.
Former journalist, as he told me.
Yeah.
Also a yogi.
And a broadcast presenter.
Yeah.
He knows what he's doing. If Jeff Platt ever gets in trouble or canceled or something, we'll just get Brandon Wilson to step in.
Raise and take there for Wilson. Ausmus still short here, 6 big blinds for him. Ausmus is well out in front on top of the PGT leaderboard. About a 700 point lead or so. So very likely that he is crowned, or I think it's locked up now, that he's crowned the PGT Player of the Year. His closest competitor would be Daniel Negreanu, but he's not playing this series, waiting for the old PGT Championship, of which he will be in there, of course.
Time extension.
That Player of the Year title does come with a $50,000 bonus for Mr. Ausmus. So good on him. Limp from Kaverman here out of the small blind. Check from Wilson. Off to the 10-8-3 flop with a couple of diamonds. Kaverman flopping top and bottom pair. He's going to start with the check. He's also got backdoor hearts. Somebody's doing some kind of unwrapping.
Share the chocolates, please. They better be chocolates. Donnie, what's your favorite chocolate bar?
I mean, if I'm indulging, I'm going Kit Kat. I'm just pounding some Kit Kat.
Kit Kat, by the way, the healthiest of the chocolate bars.
Oh, really?
It has
wow,
the
look at that.
lowest amount of sugar.
I mean, it makes sense.
And also, there's
It's
almost
like the lightest when you.
it's very light. The wafers definitely keeping you healthy there. Have you ever had a Lion bar?
I don't think so.
That's my favorite.
Like Lion?
Yeah, a Lion. Go look it up. Lion chocolate bar. They're awesome.
I will.
It's. I mean, I think it's all over Europe. I think U.S. has not caught on to this yet. Lion bar, by the way, one of the few chocolate bars that's actually better at room temp than from the fridge. You know, Kit Kat from the fridge, excellent, nice and crunchy. Lion bar from the fridge, inedible because there's so much going on. The thing won't even chew. If you see this at a store of some kind, you have to try it. It's very good.
Okay.
All right. Meanwhile, back to the poker action. They're just checking it down. We don't have to pay attention to that.
Ten's good.
Should have won that hand. Thought I had more big blinds. I didn't shove. I should have shoved.
And it actually turns out to be some kind of protein bar. Are we even surprised? Ausmus on the protein bar bandwagon. Look at this. Digital Labyrinth in the chat says, just ate a Lion bar. Let's go.
There you go.
I haven't had one in forever. But that's the problem with me and candy bars. If I buy a 4-pack of something, it's gone the next day. I can't have it in the house.
I mean, I'm the same way, and I've kind of thought about just that when you're gonna go a little bit crazy like that, just get it all out of the way. Like one sitting, you know, just bang it out. Not like, because then you might be having a candy bar every day for 4 or 5 days. No,
Right.
just get it out and then
Yep.
get back on track the next day. You know?
I could probably eat 10 Kit Kats in one sitting.
Oh, for sure. Just go buy that pint of ice cream.
Yep.
Hammer it out in a half an hour and like move on with your life.
Kaverman here with King Queen of Hearts making it 375. Wilson with a appealing looking Ace 6 of Diamonds makes the call. See if Ausmus finds anything. Perhaps enticing to get three-way here.
10 seconds.
Sadly for him, it's only Ace Deuce.
Time extension.
What's going through Ausmus' mind here?
I mean, just how he wants to proceed. He's just so short. I mean, but
10
this
seconds.
Ace Deuce off is just like the worst of it.
Time extension.
Doesn't help that he just committed 2 big blinds. Maybe he's trying to tank for a pay jump.
Time extension.
It's only his 3rd or 4th time extension.
I mean, is he thinking that Kaverman and Wilson could be so light here that playing Ace Deuce would make sense? But clearly, full equity not really a thing when you're shoving that little, especially with 2 players still in the hand. Ausmus ultimately gets out of the way, and there's Ace 9, 7, 2 spades. Wilson flops the ace. Ausmus would have also flopped an ace, but would, of course, have been in a world of trouble with the deuce as his kicker. Action goes check, check. 5 of hearts on the turn. We're also betting 350, looking to extract some value from his top pair.
Do I have 3 of these?
Yes.
All right, so Ausmus with that down to just 600K. He'll be forced all in real soon. Four big blinds for Jeremy Ausmus versus the 2 massive stacks of Kaverman and Wilson. All right, chat. Who do you got? Anyone with any fate left in Ausmus as he finds King 9 of clubs, which of course looks like pocket aces when you've got 4 big blinds.
Yeah, good enough here to put your money in, so let's see it.
And there it goes. Ausmus moves all in. Kaverman 10-6 off.
He just might be too short. That Kaverman might give him a spin.
10 seconds. Time extension.
Is Kaverman supposed to call here?
10 seconds.
I think it's close, but I think yes as well. Like, I think he's going to be shoving obviously all the pairs, and you know you're flipping with some of those, which is fine. And then like you know the 9-8, 9-7 suited stuff like that can also shove. You might even be dominating some hands if Ausmus goes with like 7-6 suited.
All right, so Ausmus is at risk here, holding the best hand, 65-35, so not out of the danger zone just yet. Here comes the flop. Jack 3, 8-2 spades. Ausmus out in front. Kaverman looking for a 10 or a 6, running spades, running straight cards. Still some options there. Far from safe for the #1 of 2024. Looking a whole lot safer now as backdoor draws have been eliminated. Kaverman looking for a 10 or a 6 only to reduce this tournament to heads-up play. River card is the 5 of hearts, and Jeremy Ausmus stays alive, doubles up to 1.4 million. Still a long way to go, but at least he is back in it. If you're Ausmus, is it strictly a cards game right now? Can he allow himself any creativity?
I mean, he's got slightly more creativity now that he's up to almost 10 big blinds, 9 big blinds, you know, but I mean, it's hard. He's just really going to mostly be looking for some spots to get his money in, although he did play that hand recently where he had the 8s. He limped pre, fired the flop, you know, so stuff like that, maybe there's a little bit of flexibility.
4 point something for you?
Yeah, 4 points, 4.3.
Okay.
Wilson, big chip leader still. He's got double the chips of Kaverman. 9 big blinds over there for Ausmus. He's got queen 5 off here on the button. Into the muck it goes, and a walk for Wilson. Look at that.
How many hands are we playing? For this level? This is the last one?
We are in the scary 75-150 level right now. Every single day, this is the level that does all the damage.
On.
And Wilson shoves to put Ausmus at risk, and he snaps it off with ace-4, and rightly so. Jeremy Ausmus out in front to double up a second time. Ausmus with ace-4 in basically a coin-flip situation here against 6-5, so Wilson will not be too unhappy having to take the showdown in this fashion. All right, here comes the flop. Ace-4, 9. 2 pair right off the bat here for Ausmus. And Wilson looking for a backdoor straight or backdoor hearts. Running 5s or 6s would also get the trick done here. 9 on the turn. That is not the card Wilson was looking for. Securing another double up for Ausmus. And now he's a contender again.
Oh, yeah. Right back into the thick of things is Jeremy Ausmus. Up to 2.6 million. Not the biggest hit, of course, to the stack that Brandon Wilson had, but if you're over there and you're Byron Kaverman, now you're thinking, really? Really? Like, really? I got this guy coming in my rear view now. I basically had, you know, 1 foot in the door for heads up play, and now I got to worry about Mr. Ausmus over here.
The warm jacket has definitely ended the cold run of Jeremy Ausmus, as he is now still in contention here for the top prize of $285,000. If you want to work on your poker game, join OccupyPoker.ai for free right now. Occupy Poker is the most accessible poker study platform for all skill levels. Join the tribe, grow the game, pursue mastery. Scan the QR code on your screen or join him for free right now over at OccupyPoker.ai. And one more thing. Please make sure that if you, or please know, I should say, please know that if you become a paying subscriber,
I'll take another green tea with honey.
You will be entered in our raffle to win, or to have a chance to win, a seat into Event 1 of the Poker Masters. And Ausmus here, ace-7 of spades, goes for the shove. And look at that, he keeps on climbing. Ausmus now trailing Kaverman by only 800,000. I don't recall many people believing in Ausmus about 15 minutes ago, but hey, here we are. Kaverman in the small blind finds a real hand, pocket nines. Just going to come with a call. Perhaps try and hope that Wilson makes a misstep here.
10 seconds.
Check.
If you're enjoying the coverage, please smash that like button. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. We got 2 more live streams coming up on Wednesday and Thursday before the championship $1 Million free roll kicks off on Friday. Ace, Queen, 4. Rainbow flop. Kaverman's pair not looking the greatest right now, but since this is unraised, he'll still probably think that he's ahead most of the time. Action goes check, check. 6 of clubs on the turn, giving Wilson a pair.
Check.
Kaverman checks again.
Okay. 10 seconds.
Again, the action is checked. Kaverman hits a set on the river to give him perhaps the confidence to finally put a bet out there, because we've checked this thing all the way down.
Yep. Yes.
10 seconds.
$325.
325.
Given the fact that there was no action, does Wilson perhaps think that his 6 could be good?
I mean, maybe, but you know, I think Kaverman can still have some aces there, can have some queens as well.
Would you mind pouring that in there, please? Yeah.
Ausmus on
you.
14
That's
bigs, Kaverman on 21. Wilson still on top with 35. Wilson has been the chip leader for this entire final table. We're on hand 58. Kaverman with a premium ace jack of clubs.
400.
400,000.
Action on Ausmus with King 8 off in the big blind. You okay with defending this?
Yeah, I think it's fine, and helps that Ausmus is a little bit deeper now, so you know has a little bit of playability here. Gets a great flop.
Oh yeah, great flop for Ausmus. How do we generally tackle situations like this where we are defending from the blinds and hitting such a good flop?
Yeah, I mean, very disconnected here. Pretty standard just to start with a check. Even during three-handed play, type of texture that Kaverman's probably going to continue quite a lot, so Ausmus can get some extra value this way.
10 seconds.
650.
650.
Kaverman bets 275. Ausmus with the immediate check raise. What does this signal to Kaverman?
I mean, it could certainly be a king. I can definitely see Ausmus taking this line. Just want to start getting the chips in with his top pair. You know, it's kind of on the smaller side for this check raise, so you can certainly target some ace highs that Kaverman has that he's probably going to peel and come along with, just like he is right now. Of course, we can see Kaverman has that benefit of backdoor clubs as well.
Well, Kaverman makes the call, creating a massive pot worth 2.4 million. Turn card is going to be crucial here, and it completely misses Kaverman. If you're Ausmus with 1.7 million left, is this the type of situation where you just get it in, or is your hand too strong where you perhaps hope that Kaverman makes a misstep of his own?
I mean, Ausmus is going to do whatever he can here to get the money in for sure.
10 seconds.
Six.
600,000.
And he goes small, bets a quarter of the pot, 600,000.
Ausmus just making sure he can keep in all weaker hands from Kaverman over here. Maybe even at some frequency you can keep the ace highs in as well. The good ace highs, you know, like Kaverman has here. Kaverman says no thank you. But hey, that's good enough for Ausmus.
I mean, this run for Ausmus has been insane. Now up to 4.1 million. Kaverman now the short stack, as we are up to playing 100K, 200K blinds. Crazy turn of events.
Quick update when you
Ausmus
can, please, Jeremy.
in second place now.
About 3.1.
Brandon Wilson always wants a
Thank
chip
you,
update.
sir.
4-2.
Thanks.
1, 2, 2.
On me, right?
Yes, he's with them.
Seconds.
Couple of fives now for Ausmus. He's just going to put this all in.
Kaverman finds ace-9 and snaps it off.
Here we go.
We got a massive coin flip on our hands, and this time it is Kaverman at risk. 6.1 million in the middle. If Ausmus knocks Kaverman out, he will go into the heads-up battle as the chip leader. Huge hand all of a sudden. All right, here comes the flop. Jack 10-7 Rainbow. Kaverman with plenty of outs, 10 to be exact. An 8 would give him a straight. An ace or a 9 would also do the trick, but Ausmus pair of 5s so far still safe, even though he's going to get nervous here. 4 on the turn, the perfect card for Ausmus, avoiding any potential counterfeits. A board pair, of course, would have given Kaverman even more outs. But right now, Kaverman, who was challenging for the chip lead, on his way out the door, and Jeremy Ausmus finds himself heads up with the chip lead. In a matter of 25 minutes, Jeremy Ausmus down from just a few big blinds to now being the heads-up chip leader, and that's tournament poker for you right there. Kaverman takes home $125,000. The final two guaranteed 176 and 285 up top for the winner.
Good game, man.
Jeremy Ausmus breaking hearts as Brandon Wilson is now heads up for the second time in 2 days, going for his second title here at the Last Chance.
Poker, a game of infinite complexity. How simple can we make it? Every hand I play is a teacher, each emotion a guide. Our experience and technological innovation will help you unlock your game's potential. Octopi Poker. Pursue mastery.
Want to play online poker for free? With PokerGO, you get the thrill of authentic poker anytime, anywhere. From quick casual games to action-packed tournaments, PokerGO lets you compete against real players around the globe, all for free. No bots, no gimmicks, just pure poker fun. Hone your skills and enjoy the poker experience you love. Explore PokerGO on web, iOS, and Android. Deal yourself in now.
Back inside the studio, Ausmus versus Wilson. A very close heads-up match, just one big blind separating these two players. The cup is in the middle, awaiting its future owner. Donnie, the joke has been for the longest time that Ausmus can't close. How much of that is true?
I mean, none of it. It just happens in tournament poker. You can go quite a long time without winning a tournament. You can go quite a long time without cashing a tournament, especially in the live realm where you can't really realize the amount of volume to buck the variance at times. But, you know, Ausmus is what? He's got 20-something cashes on the PGT this year, millions and millions of dollars in prize money won. Ended up getting his first PGT win of the season at the PGT PLO series, and now it's looking like he could get his second in the final series of the year. A couple of 10s for Brandon Wilson. Nice hand to start with, and on the button as well.
425.
425.
Absolute monster here, pocket tens. That's just how heads-up poker goes. Your opponent also needs to find something playable. And, you know, quick flashback, Donnie, to yesterday's match between Wilson and Linde and Tice. Are we expecting Wilson to take a similar approach versus Ausmus, or will he perhaps be a little bit more concerned given the depth of Ausmus' experience in the live realm?
Check.
I mean, I think he'll take a very similar approach. I'm not sure what sort of experience these two have playing against one another. But I think, you know, Wilson has gotten to the point in his career where I think he's going to kind of go into any sort of match like this, playing his game, and then, of course, make the necessary adjustments. I think both of his opponents that he's had to face yesterday, Linde and Tice, today being Jeremy Ausmus, like, they're both well-known players, so if you're in Wilson's shoes, I think you have an idea of how they're going to probably play, you know, approach certain things. You know, Jeremy is obviously very well studied, but also a very experienced live player, so can make some adjustments in that way. And then, you know, Tice is, I would say, much more theory and like solver heavy, so you go into the match with that sort of approach. See a check raise here right out of the gate from Ausmus, just attacking here. Interesting spot for Ausmus. I mean, he is kind of blocking some stuff here. That 5 of diamonds can block some continues from your opponent, both backdoor flush draws and some straight draws. Or some flush draws, I should say, not backdoor. And some straight draws, and then the queen. You know, that blocks what? The best kings, king, queen, and stuff like that. So the 7 here, let's see if Ausmus wants to continue.
Wilson hanging tough after facing a check raise. The question is, how much more does Ausmus want to risk here? And how will that come across to Wilson? The king, of
1.5.
course, the only
5 million.
real card to be afraid of. And I think he just said 1.5.
Yeah, 60% pot here, so really just coming with it is Ausmus.
And look at this, Wilson facing the overcard, and the big bet comes along a second time.
That's it.
5.5 million in the middle. Absolutely massive pot developing here. Ausmus looking for a 6 or a queen, and it is not there. It's the 4 of hearts. Now, how do we proceed here? Do we have any options left, or do we just simply have to surrender?
I think this card, pairing the board on the river here, is just going to spark Ausmus to shut this one down. I mean, of course, you know, he could continue through with the bluff if he would like to, but I don't know, a static card like this that doesn't really change much. I will say that if he does come with it, Wilson, I think, would fold, but I mean, obviously I don't know, but that's his only out here, that's for sure.
I mean, would Ausmus play a hand like King 10?
Look at this.
Any
He is
different?
going
And
for it.
there it goes. Jeremy Ausmus pulls the trigger to show his opponent that he's not to be messed with. Brandon Wilson now in the tank. Wow. What a hand. Ausmus going 3 streets. And Donnie, we saw Wilson do the same thing to land and Tice last night.
Yeah, I'm already getting kind of thoughts in my head that yesterday we saw the big bluff from Wilson that ultimately helped get him to the victory. I'm leaning here that he's going to call. Again, a pretty static card here on the river, not changing too much of this board composition, so I'm leaning that he's going to be able to find this call. I think it helps in Wilson's case that he doesn't have any diamonds in his hand, unblocking possible flush draws that Ausmus could check raise and then just decide to barrel off with.
Wilson does have plenty of time left to make his decision. Could the 4 be a card that Ausmus check raises on the flop? Could that be something he's representing here?
I would lean no. And I think he would take more of a standard line of just check call with a 4.
So Ausmus really selling the story that he has a King 9, King 10 type hand. Just defending pre-flop. Just to recap here, 425 pre, Ausmus called. Then Wilson bet 250, Ausmus check raised to 750. As Ausmus took control, he fired 1.5 million on the turn, and now pulling the trigger for all of it on the river.
I mean, you mentioned specifically probably, and there
wow!
it is.
Wilson makes the call. What a hero!
Did I have you
Brandon
covered?
Wilson
I get to verify it.
takes all but 900,000 of Jeremy Ausmus chips on his way
think I might
to
have had a
potentially
hand more, maybe?
winning back-to-back hands here at the 2025 PGT Last Chance. Wow, what a hand.
2.
Great hand there. Ended up finding it in the end.
4.8.
Thought about it, of course. And what I was going to say is, Remko, you were specifically pointing out something that might have been in Wilson's head is the King 10 type of hand that Ausmus could certainly have there. Well, guess what?
Right.
You're blocking that pretty well on your side. So, you know. Look at Wilson.
I mean,
incredible call.
So this is my favorite type of hand where you can applaud both players for the way they played it. Ausmus with the guts and the determination to fire 3 straight barrels, and Wilson at the same time having the confidence to follow his read, to trust his instincts, and to make that call on the river.
Yeah, I mean, I think it is a well-played hand on both sides. You know, I think Ausmus started going for it. I like the way that 5 of diamonds was working for him to block some continues and some value that his opponent could have. You know, and then he ultimately followed through on all streets, which, yeah, it's one thing to check raise the flop you know, it's a little bit harder to then continue on the turn. And then, yes, it's extremely hard to fall through on the river when you're just there, sitting there with queen high, right? But Ausmus went for it. Unfortunately for him, Brandon Wilson, it's his day today, right?
It's
and
his
he
week.
made that incredible call.
It's his day. It's his week. It might be his year. Brandon Wilson, of course, gained lots of fame down at the Seminole Hard Rock, where he won 3 high roller events in 1 year. But perhaps 2025 will be his breakout year for all those that follow the game of poker here on the PokerGO channel. Very, very impressive showing by him. Ausmus down to 900K. 6% of the chips.
I mean, listen, if you're not bluffing and getting picked off,
right,
you're probably not bluffing enough in poker.
I think we've talked about this before, where you said that some players will say that they always bust with the best hand, and that just means that you're not bluffing enough.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, this one didn't work out for Jeremy Ausmus, of course, but I think it's pretty safe to say that he's had enough success in his career that there's probably hundreds of times that has worked out, similar situations, and we just don't happen to see it. It's not on a stream table or whatnot, but yeah, I think both players played that hand well, and you know, ultimately Brandon Wilson got the better of it. Sometimes you're just second best. I mean, what are you gonna do? It's poker. Got to tip your hat to the kid, that's for sure.
$5-3 suited for Wilson.
All in.
All in.
Moves all in, keeping that pressure on Ausmus. 6-3 of diamonds.
1, 2, 3 big blinds.
Yeah, probably got to call this off here.
3 big blinds. He is suited with the 6-3, and he's got
Sweet.
Wilson dominated. Oh, man. 4 deuce, 5-3. Doesn't matter to Wilson.
What do I need for my 6 to play? 2, 2, 4, 4. No, it's nothing. It's impossible. Gotta hit a 6.
Very likely this will end up in the chop.
2, 2, 4, 4, 3.
Well, that is no longer a possibility as Brandon Wilson flops a wheel. Jeremy Ausmus now looking for a 5 to make a higher straight, or else Wilson will go back-to-back, winning 2 events here at the PGT Last Chance, fending off 2024 Player of the Year, Jeremy Ausmus. Turn card is the 8 of spades. Ausmus looking for a 5 and a 5 only, or else Wilson will be the victor. River card is the 7 of clubs, and that is it.
Nice shot.
Brandon
Sick,
Wilson
you went back to back.
goes practically
Yes, sir. That's nice.
wire to wire, winning 2 events in a row, basically securing a seat in the PGT Championship $1 Million free roll, which kicks off on January 10th, which is streaming exclusively on PokerGO.
You have to. Yeah. You got to be.
Jeremy
Like, even
Ausmus
if I didn't play.
collects
any more events.
$176,000
Probably.
for his
I mean, I'm
efforts.
2 wins.
Going to, but
I mean, 2 wins. I would say there's, yeah. You got to be for sure top 3. You'll be number 1, like very, very likely. I would think.
Ausmus and Wilson with some quick chatter about the standings.
GG, Jeremy. See you out there.
Those, of course, very important. And as I was going to say, Wilson takes home $285,000 right after winning
good
$297
question.
in last night's event.
Yeah, okay. Let's take the 5-3.
I hope he takes a photo with both trophies he won in the last few days as we take a quick look at Paul Campbell running around inside the main studio. Darren Elias in the mix, and plenty more top pros vying for a seat at tomorrow's final table. January 8th, 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific time, the final table of event number 5. Follow the live reporting on PGT.com. You'll be able to read along with the live updates, which will carry you down to the final table as Jonathan Tamayo in the top right corner of your screen looks for a cash that would secure his seat in the top 40 of the PGT Championship. For now, my name is Remko. Donnie Peters was alongside me. Thank you for watching. We'll see you tomorrow for Event 5.